Saint Lucia, Sainte Lucie, French, Sainte Lucie, is a sovereign island country in the eastern Caribbean Sea on the boundary with the Atlantic Ocean. Part of the Lesser Antilles, it is located northeast of the island of St. Vincent, northwest of Barbados and south of Martinique. It covers a land area of 617 square kilometers, 238.23 square miles, and reported a population of 165,595 in the 2010 census. Its capital is Castries. The French were the island's first European settlers. They signed a treaty with the native Carib Indians in 1660. England took control of the island from 1663 to 1667. In ensuing years, it was at war with France 14 times, and rule of the island changed frequently. It was 7 times each ruled by the French and British. In 1814, the British took definitive control of the island. Because it switched so often between British and French control, St. Lucia was also known as the Helen of the West Indies. Representative government came about in 1840, with universal suffrage from 1953. From 1958 to 1962, the island was a member of the Federation of the West Indies. On the 22nd of February 1979, St. Lucia became an independent state of the Commonwealth of Nations associated with the United Kingdom. St. Lucia is a mixed jurisdiction, meaning that it has a legal system based in part on both the civil law and English common law. The Civil Code of St. Lucia of 1867 was based on the Quebec Civil Code of 1866, as supplemented by English common law style legislation. It is also a member of La Francophonie. Etymology One of the Windward Islands, St. Lucia was named after Saint Lucie of Syracuse by the French, the island's first European settlers, and the only country in the world named after a woman. History The French pirate François Leclerc, also known as Hambi de Bois, due to his wooden leg, frequently visited St. Lucia in the 1550s. It was not until around 1600 that the first European camp was started by the Dutch at what is now Vieux Fort. In 1605 an English vessel called the Olive Branch was blown off course on its way to Guyana, and the 67 colonists started a settlement on St. Lucia. After 5 weeks only 19 survived due to disease and conflict with the Caribs, so they fled the island. The French officially claimed the island in 1635. The English attempted the next European settlement in 1639, and that too was wiped out by Caribs. French colony In 1643 a French expedition sent out from Martinique established a permanent settlement on the island. De Rousselan was appointed the island's governor, took a Carib wife and remained in post until his death in 1654. In 1664, Thomas Warner, son of Sir Thomas Warner, the governor of St. Kitts, claimed St. Lucia for England. He brought 1,000 men to defend it from the French, but after 2 years, only 89 survived, with the rest dying mostly due to disease. In 1666 the French West India Company resumed control of the island, which in 1674 was made an official French crown colony as a dependency of Martinique. 18th and 19th century Both the British and the French found the island attractive after the sugar industry developed, and during the 18th century the island changed ownership or was declared neutral territory a dozen times, although the French settlements remained and the island was a de facto French colony well into the 18th century. In 1722, George I of Great Britain granted both St. Lucia and St. Vincent to the second Duke of Montagu. He in turn appointed Nathaniel Irving, a merchant sea captain and adventurer, as deputy governor. Irving went to the islands with a group of 7 ships, and established settlement at Petit Carénage. Unable to get enough support from British warships, he and the new colonists were quickly run off by the French. During the 7 Years' War Britain occupied St. Lucia for a year. Britain handed the island back to the French at the Treaty of Paris in 1763. Like the English and Dutch on other islands, the French began to develop the land for the cultivation of sugar cane as a commodity crop on large plantations in 1765. When the French Revolution occurred, and the slaves had heard about the revolution, they walked off their jobs in 1790 to 1791 to work for themselves. In 1792 a revolutionary tribunal was sent to St. Lucia, headed by Captain Jean-Baptiste Raymond de Lacrosse. Bringing the ideas of the revolution to St. Lucia, Lacrosse set up a guillotine used to execute royalists. In 1794 the French governor of the island Nicolas Javier de Ricard declared that all slaves were free, as also happened in Saint-Domingue. However, the decree was unevenly carried out. A short time later the British invaded the island as a part of the recently broken out war with France. On the 21st of February 1795, a group of locals led by Victor Hugues defeated a battalion of British troops. In 1796, Castries was burned as part of the conflict. In 1803, the British regained control of the island. Many of the rebels escaped into the thick rainforests where they evaded capture and established maroon communities. The slavery on the island was continued for a short time, but anti-slavery sentiment was rising in Britain. The British stopped the import of slaves by anyone, white or colored, when they abolished the slave trade in 1807. France and Great Britain continued to contest St. Lucia until the British secured it in 1814, as part of the Treaty of Paris ending the Napoleonic Wars. Thereafter, St. Lucia was considered part of the British Windward Islands colony. In 1836, the institution of slavery was abolished on the island and throughout the British Empire. After abolition, all former slaves had to serve a 4-year apprenticeship to accustom them to the idea of freedom. During this period, they worked for their former masters for at least 3/4 of the work week. Full freedom was duly granted by the British in 1838. By that time, people of African ethnicity greatly outnumbered those of ethnic European background. Some people of Carib descent also comprised a minority on the island. 20th century. In the mid-20th century, St. Lucia joined the West Indies Federation, 1958 to 1962, when the colony was dissolved. In 1967, St. Lucia became one of the 6 members of the West Indies Associated States, with internal self-government. In 1979, it gained full independence under Sir John Compton of the Conservative United Workers' Party, UWP, who served as Prime Minister from 1982 to 1996, after which he was succeeded by Vaughan Lewis. Dr. Kenny Davis Anthony of the Labour Party was Prime Minister from 1997 to 2006. In 2006, the UWP, again led by Compton, won control of Parliament. In May 2007, after Compton suffered a series of small strokes, Finance and External Affairs Minister Stephenson King became acting Prime Minister and succeeded Compton as Prime Minister when the latter died in September 2007. In November 2011, the Honorable Drive, Kenny D. Anthony was re-elected as Prime Minister for a 3rd time. In the June 2016 elections, the UWP assumed power again, under Prime Minister Alan Chastanet. Geography. The volcanic island of St. Lucia is more mountainous than most Caribbean islands, with the highest point being Mount Gimme, at 950 meters, 3,120 feet, above sea level. 2 other mountains, the Pitons, form the island's most famous landmark. They are located between Soufriere and Choiseul on the western side of the island. St. Lucia is also one of the few islands in the world that boasts a drive-in volcano. The capital city of St. Lucia is Castries, population 60,263, where 32.4% of the population lives. Major towns include Gros Islet, Soufriere, and Vieux-Fort. Climate. The local climate is tropical, moderated by northeast trade winds, with a dry season from the 1st of December to the 31st of May, and a wet season from the 1st of June to the 30th of November. Average daytime temperatures are around 29 degrees Celsius, 84.2 degrees Fahrenheit, and average nighttime temperatures are around 18 degrees Celsius, 64.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Since it is fairly close to the equator, the temperature does not fluctuate much between winter and summer. Average annual rainfall ranges from 1,300 millimeters, 51.2 in, on the coast to 3,810 millimeters, 150 in the mountain rainforests. Geology. The geology of St. Lucia can be described as composing 3 main areas. The oldest, 15 to 18 ma, volcanic rocks are exposed from Castries northward and consist of eroded basalt and andesite centers. The middle, central highlands, portion of the island consists of dissected andesite centers, 10.4 to 1 ma, while the lower southwest portion of the island contains recent activity from the Soufriere Volcanic Center, SVC. This SVC, centered about the Quilibao Depression, contains pyroclastic flow deposits, lava flows, domes, block and ash flow deposits, and explosion craters. This depression's perimeter includes the town of Soufriere, Mount Tabic, Mount Gimme, Mornbonin, and Gros Piton, at 10 kilometers in diameter. Though the western portion is open towards the Granada Basin, the depression formed as recently as 100 kyr ago. The depression is noted for its geothermal activity, especially at Sulphur Springs and Soufriere Estates, a phreatic eruption in 1776, and recent seismic activity, 2000-2001. Eroded andesitic stratovolcanoes to the northeast of the depression include Mount Gimme, Piton Saint-Esprit, and Mount Grand Magazine, all greater than 1 ma in age. Andesitic and dacite pyroclastic flows from these volcanoes are found at Morne Tabique Dome, 532 Ka, Morne Bonin Dome, 273 Ka, and Bellevue, 264 Ka. Avalanche deposits from the formation of the Quilibao Depression are found offshore, and in the massive blocks of Rabbit, Plaisance, and Cabarel. The dacitic domes of Petit Piton, 109 Ka, and Gros Piton, 71 Ka, were then extruded onto the depression floor accompanied by the Anse Jean, 104 Ka, and La Pointe, 59.8 Ka. Pyroclastic flows. Later pyroclastic flows include pumice-rich Belfond and Anse Noire, 20 Ka. Finally, the dacitic domes of Terre Blanche, 15.3 Ka, and Belfond, 13.6 Ka, formed within the depression. Government Saint Lucia is a Commonwealth realm. Queen Elizabeth II is the head of state, represented on the island by a Governor-General. The Prime Minister is normally the head of the party commanding the support of the majority of the members of the House of Assembly, which has 17 seats. The other chamber of Parliament, the Senate, has 11 appointed members. St. Lucia is a two-party parliamentary democracy. 3 political parties participated in the 6th of June 2016 general election. Alan Chastanet of the United Workers' Party won 11 of the 17 seats. Foreign relations St. Lucia maintains friendly relations with the major powers active in the Caribbean, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and France. St. Lucia has no extant international disputes. St. Lucia is a full and participating member of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, and La Francophonie. St. Lucia is a Commonwealth realm. The Organization of American States, OAS, The Charter of the OAS was signed in Bogotá in 1948 and was amended by several protocols which were named after the city and the year in which the protocol was signed, such as Managua in 1993 forming part of the name of the protocol. St. Lucia entered the OAS system on February 22, 1979. Summits of the Americas. The last Summits of the Americas, the 7th, was held in Panama City, Panama in 2015 with the 8th summit being held in Lima, Peru in 2018 according to the website of the Summits of Americas. Indigenous Leaders Summits of Americas, ILSA. 3 Indigenous Leaders Summits of Americas, ILSA, have been held with 3 past summits, which were Canada, Argentina and Panama. It was the intention of the leaders to have this summit within the framework of that which was held in Trinidad and Tobago in 2009. The position of the OAS with respect to indigenous persons appears to be developing over the years. The most recent statement made by the heads of state of the hemisphere was in the Declaration of Commitments of Port of Spain in 2009 paragraph 86 according to the OAS's website. The draft American Declaration of the Rights of the Indigenous Persons appears to be a working document. The last meeting for negotiations in the quest for consensus on this area appeared to be meeting number 18 and is listed as being held in May 2015 according to the website. Agreements which impact on financial relationships The Double Taxation Relief, CARICOM, Treaty 1994. At a CARICOM meeting, representative of St. Lucia, Mr. John Compton signed the Double Taxation Relief, CARICOM, Treaty 1994 on the 6th of July 1994. The representatives of 7 CARICOM countries signed similar agreements at Sherborne Conference Center, St. Michael, Barbados. The countries whose representatives signed the treaties in Barbados were Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Grenada, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Trinidad and Tobago. This treaty covered taxes, residence, tax jurisdictions, capital gains, business profits, interest, dividends, royalties and other areas. FATCA. On June 30, 2014, St. Lucia signed a Model 1 agreement with the United States of America in relation to Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATCA. As at September 1, 2016, the status of the agreement is listed as in force. Preceding the 2014 FATCA agreement is one which was entered into on January 30, 1987 between the United States of America and St. Lucia according to paragraph 2 of the Model 1 agreement, the purpose of which was to exchange tax information. Military St. Lucia has no regular military force. A special service unit and the Coast Guard are both under the command of the Royal St. Lucia Police. Administrative divisions The districts of the island, established by the French colonial government and continued by the British, are. An additional area is the Forest Reserve Area Quarter, 78.3 3 square kilometers economy an educated workforce and improvements in roads, communications, water supply, sewerage, and port facilities have attracted foreign investment in tourism and in petroleum storage and transshipment. However, with the US, Canada, and Europe in recession, tourism declined by double digits in early 2009. The recent change in the European Union import preference regime and the increased competition from Latin American bananas have made economic diversification increasingly important in St. Lucia. St. Lucia has been able to attract foreign business and investment, especially in its offshore banking and tourism industries, which is St. Lucia's main source of revenue. The manufacturing sector is the most diverse in the Eastern Caribbean area, and the government is trying to revitalize the banana industry. Despite negative growth in 2011, economic fundamentals remain solid, and GDP growth should recover in the future. Inflation has been relatively low, averaging 5.5% between 2006 and 2008. St. Lucia's currency is the East Caribbean dollar, EC dollar, a regional currency shared among members of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECU. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCL, issues the EC dollar, manages monetary policy, and regulates and supervises commercial banking activities in member countries. In 2003, the government began a comprehensive restructuring of the economy, including elimination of price controls and privatization of the state banana company. Tourism Tourism is vital to St. Lucia's economy. Its economic importance is expected to continue to increase as the market for bananas becomes more competitive. Tourism tends to be more substantial during the dry season, January to April. St. Lucia tends to be popular due to its tropical weather and scenery and its numerous beaches and resorts. Other tourist attractions include a drive-in volcano, Sulphur Springs, in Soufriere, the Botanical Gardens, the majestic Twin Peaks, the Pitons, a World Heritage Site, the rainforests, and Pigeon Island National Park, which is home to Fort Rodney, an old British military base. The majority of tourists visit St. Lucia as part of a cruise. Most of their time tends to be spent in Castries, although Soufriere, Marigot Bay and Gros Islet are popular locations to visit. Demographics St. Lucia reported a population of 165,595 in the 2010 national census. In 2015, the United Nations Population Division estimated St. Lucia's population at 184,999. The country's population is evenly divided between urban and rural areas, with more than a third living in the capital, Castries. Despite a high emigration rate, the population is growing rapidly at about 1.2 per year. Migration from St. Lucia is primarily to Anglophone countries, with the United Kingdom having almost 10,000 St. Lucian-born citizens, and over 30,000 of St. Lucian heritage. The second most popular destination for St. Lucian emigres is the United States, where a combined, foreign and national-born St. Lucians, almost 14,000 reside. Canada is home to a few thousand St. Lucians. Ethnic groups St. Lucia's population is predominantly of African and mixed African-European descent, with a small Indo-Caribbean minority. 3. Members of other or unspecified ethnic groups account for about 2 of the population. Languages The official language is English, St. Lucian Creole French, KWE Acute Y'all, which is colloquially referred to as Patois. Patois is spoken by 95% of the population. This Antillean Creole is used in literature and music, and is gaining official acknowledgement. As it developed during the early period of French colonization, the Creole is derived chiefly from French and West African languages, with some vocabulary from the island Carib language and other sources. St. Lucia is a member of La Francophonie. Religion About 61.5% of the population is Roman Catholic, a legacy of French colonization of the island. Another 25.5% belong to Protestant denominations, include Seventh-day Adventist 10.4%, Pentecostal 8.9%, Baptist 2.2%, Anglican 1.6%, Church of God 1.5%, other Protestant 0.9%. Evangelicals comprise 2.3% of the population and 1.1% are Jehovah's Witnesses. In addition, about 1.9% of the population adheres to the Rastafari movement. Other religions include Islam, Baha'i Faith, Judaism, Buddhism. Health Public expenditure on health was at 3.3% of the GDP in 2004, whereas private expenditure was at 1.8%. Health expenditure was at $302 PPP per capita in 2004. Infant mortality was at 12 per 100,000 births in 2005. Crime In 2012, St. Lucia had the world's 16th highest murder rate, a recorded rate of 21.6 per 100,000 population. There were a total of 39 murders in St. Lucia in 2012. Culture The culture of Saint Lucia has been influenced by African, East Indian, French and English heritage. One of the secondary languages is Saint Lucian Creole French, spoken by almost all of the population. Saint Lucia boasts the second highest ratio of Nobel laureates produced with respect to the total population of any sovereign country in the world. Two winners have come from Saint Lucia. Sir Arthur Lewis won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 1979, and the poet Derek Walcott received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1992. Festivals Saint Lucian cultural festivals include La Rose and La Marguerite, the first representing a native Saint Lucian fraternal society known as the Order of the Rose that is fashioned in the mold of Rosicrucianism, and the second representing its traditional rival, the native Saint Lucian equivalent of Freemasonry known as the Order of the Marguerite. References to their origins as versions of pre-existing external secret societies can be seen in a mural painted by Dunstan St. Omer, depicting the Holy Trinity of Osiris, Horus and Isis. The biggest festival of the year is the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. Held in early May at multiple venues throughout the island, it draws visitors and musicians from around the world. The grand finale is held at the Pigeon Island, which is located to the north of the island. Traditionally, in common with other Caribbean countries, St. Lucia held a carnival before Lent. In 1999, the government moved Carnival to mid-July to avoid competing with the much larger Trinidad and Tobago Carnival and so as to attract more overseas visitors. In May 2009, St. Lucians commemorated the 150th anniversary of West Indian heritage on the island. Sport The Windward Islands cricket team includes players from St. Lucia and plays in the West Indies regional tournament. Darren Sammy became the first St. Lucian to represent the West Indies on his debut in 2007, and since 2010 has captained the side. In an international career spanning 2003 to 2008, and including 41 ODIs and 1 Test, Nadine George MBE became the first woman to score a Test century for the team. Sammy and George were recognized by the St. Lucian government as Sportsman of the Year and Sportswoman of the Year respectively for 2004. For sailing enthusiasts, the annual Atlantic Rally for Cruisers (ARC) race begins in the Canary Islands and ends in St. Lucia. 2015 marked the ARC's 30th year of existence. Every November, the race attracts over 200 boats and 1,200 people to sail across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. Music and dance Together with Caribbean music genres such as calypso, soca, dancehall, reggae, compass, zouk and salsa, St. Lucia has a strong indigenous folk music tradition. Each May since 1991, St. Lucia has hosted an internationally renowned jazz festival. In 2013, the festival was rebranded the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, which encompassed culture, visual art, alternative music, education, fashion and food. Dancing in St. Lucia is inspired by Caribbean culture and enjoys an active following. A popular folk dance is the quadrille. Education The Education Act provides for free and compulsory education in St. Lucia from the ages of 5 to 15. Public spending on education was at 5.8 among the 2002-2005 GDP. Cuisine St. Lucia's national dish is green figs and saltfish. The island's cuisine is a unique blend of West African, European, mainly British and French, and East Indian cuisine. This creates dynamic meal dishes such as macaroni pie, stewed chicken, rice and peas, fish broth or fish water, and soups packed full with fresh locally produced vegetables. Typical essential foodstuffs are potatoes, onions, celery, thyme, coconut milk, the very hot Scotch bonnet peppers, flour and cornmeal. All mainstream meat and poultry are eaten in St. Lucia. Meat and seafood are normally stewed and browned to create a rich gravy, sometimes served over ground provisions or rice. The island is also home to the famous fried dough, known by many as a Baker Johnny cake. These bakes can be served with different sides, such as saltfish, which is either sautéed or lightly fried along with red, green peppers, onions, and seasoned well. This is the most common way for bake to be prepared, though it can also be served with meat such as stewed chicken or beef. One popular St. Lucian dessert is the pastry called turnover. The pastry is made with sweetened coconut that is boiled with spices, some sugar, and whatever is satisfying. It is boiled until cooked to a light or dark brown color, then the mixture is separated into various size portions placed on a rolled out piece of dough. The dough size may vary too depending on how much is desired, and lastly, it is baked in the oven until the color of the turnover is nicely browned. Due to St. Lucia's Indo-Caribbean population, curry is very popular. However, due to the blend of cooking styles, curry dishes have a distinct Caribbean twist. Roti is typically served as a fast food meal. The bread itself is very flat, sometimes very thin, and is wrapped around curried vegetables such as chickpeas and potato, seafoods such as shrimp and conch, or meats such as chicken, beef, Goat and liver gallery see also Saint Lucia, Wikipedia book, outline of Saint Lucia, list of colonial governors and administrators of Saint Lucia, Governor General of Saint Lucia, index of Saint Lucia related articles, Saint Lucian British, Windward Islands, LGBT rights in Saint Lucia, Chief Justices, references citations sources external links Saint Lucia, The World Factbook, Central Intelligence Agency, Saint Lucia from UCB Libraries GovPubs, Saint Lucia at DMOZ, Saint Lucia from the BBC News, Wikimedia Atlas of Saint Lucia, Key Development Forecasts for Saint Lucia from International Futures, Guide to the Island of Saint Lucia,